Okay, so I am in your textbook on page 98. I'm going to go over these quick review examples, and then I'm going to ask you to do the quick check problems at the bottom. So up at the top, quick review, example 1 on page 98. It says to evaluate 240 times 300ths times 5. So I think it's easier to multiply two numbers at a time. So I'm just going to start with the first two. So 240 times 300ths. So 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. Now I could go through and multiply my zeros, but 0 times anything is 0, so I'm not going to do that. I did move my decimal 2 places here, so then I'm going to have to move it the opposite direction in my answer. So 1, 2. So when I took 240 times 300ths, I got 7 and 20 hundredths, which is actually the same as 7 and 2 tenths. Okay, now I need to take 7 and 2 tenths times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. Okay, again, I moved my decimal place once here, so I have to move it one time in my answer. So I have 36 and 0 tenths, or 36. Okay? Again, just multiply two numbers at a time and then take your answer and multiply it by the third number. Example 2, writing 3500ths as a percent. So there's a couple of different ways you could do this. First of all, a percent is always out of 100. Think about it as I always want to get 100% on my math test. Therefore, a percent is always out of 100. So I said this decimal exactly as 35 hundredths because the 5 is in the hundredths place. So I would take 35 and put it out of 100. Now, since we said a percent is always out of 100, my top number is actually just my answer, 35%. Okay. Another way you can do it is actually taking 35 hundredths and multiplying it times 100, because again, a percent is out of 100. When you multiply 100, essentially you're just moving the decimal 2 places, so you do get the answer of 35% that way as well. Okay? Like I said, I'm now going to have you do the bottom half of this, the quick check. So you will do numbers 1 through 7, and then stand quietly when you're finished.